This is a quiz about the DENSITYMIXIN class in the SKlearn library. I'll be testing your understanding of its purpose and how it works. Let's see how well you understand the DENSITYMIXIN. I'm asking you to determine which statements about this important class are true. This is the main question. We need to evaluate multiple statements to identify those that correctly describe the behavior of the DENSITYMIXIN class. This statement focuses on the SKlearn method. I need to determine if this method is provided by DENSITYMIXIN and whether it returns the log likelihood. The log likelihood is a measure of how well a statistical model fits the data. A higher log likelihood indicates a better fit. This statement is about the output of the SKlearn method. I need to know if the output is always a positive number. Remember, this method returns log likelihood values, which can be positive or negative. Here, I'm examining whether classes that inherit from DENSITYMIXIN are required to have a predictproba method. Predictproba is commonly used to predict probabilities, but is it a mandatory part of inheriting from DENSITYMIXIN? I'm checking if DENSITYMIXIN itself offers methods to compute probability densities. Remember, DENSITYMIXIN is a Mixin. It's a class designed to be added to others to give them additional features. It doesn't directly calculate things itself. This is a general description, focusing on the overall design of the DENSITYMIXIN class and how it fits into the larger structure of SKlearn. This highlights the core method of DENSITYMIXIN. I need to understand what this method does. This question asks you to identify the correct statement about the density Mixin class in the SKlearn library. We'll examine each option and determine which one accurately reflects how density Mixin works. Get ready to dive in. It's a fun challenge. This statement is correct. The density Mixin provides a method called score_samples . This method calculates and returns the log likelihood of the input data points for any model using density Mixin . Think of log likelihood as a way of measuring how likely the model thinks it is to observe those data points. The higher the log likelihood, the better the model fits the data. This is a super important concept in probability and statistics. You're doing great. This is incorrect. While many density estimation models do offer a predictproba method, which predicts probabilities, the density Mixin doesn't require it. The core functionality that density Mixin mandates is the score_samples method I just explained. Think of it like this: density Mixin sets the rules, and predict_proba is an extra feature some models might add, but it isn't compulsory. Remember, flexibility is key. Keep going. This statement is also false. The score_samples method gives you the log likelihood, and log likelihoods can definitely be negative numbers. It's all about the logarithm transformation of probabilities. Probabilities themselves are always between 0 and 1, but their logs can be negative. It's a subtle but important distinction. You're learning a lot about probability. Incorrect. Density Mixin acts as a blueprint. It doesn't directly perform calculations itself. It outlines what methods a model inheriting from it must implement. Those inheriting models, then, will do the actual probability density calculations using the score_samples method. Imagine density Mixin as an architect's plan. It sets the rules, but the actual building, the probability density calculations, is done by the contractors, the inheriting models. Hope that makes it clear. This quiz focuses on understanding the density Mixin class within the SKlearn library, a popular Python machine learning library. We'll explore what density Mixin does and how it works with other SKlearn models. Get ready to become a density Mixin expert. This question asks us to identify which statements about density Mixin are correct. I will guide you through evaluating each statement based on our understanding of SKlearn. Let's dive in. This statement is correct. Density Mixin doesn't directly calculate probabilities. Instead, it provides the _score_samples method. This method is really important because it calculates the log likelihood, a measure of how likely the observed data is given a model. A higher log likelihood indicates a better fit. This is the core functionality. This is incorrect. While many models that use density mixin might have a _predict_proba method, which predicts probabilities, it's not a requirement. The crucial method density mixin demands is _score_samples . Think of it like this: density mixin sets the rules, but individual models decide how to play the game. This is false. Density mixin is a mixin, it's not a fully functional model itself. It defines the interface, like a blueprint, and lets inheriting classes handle the specific implementation of density calculations. It's like a recipe. It tells you what to do, but you have to do the cooking. This statement is wrong. _score_samples returns the log likelihood. Logarithms can be negative, so the output can be positive or negative. Remember the properties of logarithms. This is the button you would click to submit your answers. Good luck. This is a quiz about the Mixin class in the popular Python machine learning library, SKlearn. I'll be testing your understanding of this class. This question asks you to identify the correct statements about the density mixin . Let's analyze each statement carefully. Density mixin is a crucial part of SKlearn. It's a mixin class, which means it's designed to be inherited by other classes to add specific functionality. In this case, it's all about adding probability density estimation capabilities. I need to understand what this means in practice. This statement focuses on the _score_samples method. This method is central to the Mixin. It calculates the log likelihood, the logarithm of how likely the observed data is given a particular model. I will verify if this statement is true or false based on my understanding of scikit-learn documentation. Let's think about statement D. It discusses the output of _score_samples . This method returns log likelihood. Logarithms of numbers less than 1 are negative. Therefore, I can determine whether the statement is true or false. Statement B claims that inheriting classes must implement _predict_proba . I need to refer to the scikit-learn documentation to check if this is a requirement of the density mixin or just a common practice among models that use it. Statement A says that Mixin itself contains methods to calculate densities. I need to clarify whether it provides direct methods or if it just sets up the framework for other classes. This is a quiz about the density mixin class in the scikit-learn library, a popular Python library for machine learning. Let's dive in. We're going to test your knowledge of density mixin which is a mixin class in scikit-learn. A mixin is a class designed for inheritance to add functionality to other classes. This quiz will focus on what density mixin does and what you can expect from classes that use it. This statement is incorrect. Density mixin itself doesn't do the calculations. Instead, it defines what methods a class must have to work properly. Think of it like a blueprint. It specifies the structure, but a specific building, the class that inherits from it, must build itself. Incorrect again. While many density estimation models will have a predict_proba method to predict probabilities, density mixin doesn't enforce this. The core method provided by density mixin is _score_samples . This is the correct answer. The _score_samples method is the key. It gives you the log likelihood, a measure of how likely your data is given the model. Nope. The _score_samples method returns a log likelihood, and log likelihoods can be negative. These are your 4 options to consider based on your understanding of the density mixin class and its functionality within scikit-learn. Let me know what you choose. This is a quiz about the Mixin class in the SKlearn library. I'll be testing your knowledge of its functionality. Let's get started. This statement is incorrect. The DENSITYMIXIN itself doesn't directly calculate densities. Instead, it sets up a structure for models that do perform those calculations. Think of it as a blueprint. It specifies what a density calculating model should be able to do, but not how it should do it. This is false. While many density estimation models might have a PREDICTPROBA method, predicting probabilities, DENSITYMIXIN doesn't require it. The core method is SKlearn. This statement is correct. The DENSITYMIXIN provides a SKlearn method, which is key. This method gives you the log likelihood, which is super useful for density estimation problems. I like this one. That's incorrect. The SKlearn method returns the log likelihood, and log likelihoods can certainly be negative. The correct answer is indeed C, confirming the role of the SKlearn method within the DENSITYMIXIN framework. This is the core question of the quiz, focusing on understanding the functionalities provided by DENSITYMIXIN. This sets up the context for the quiz on DENSITYMIXIN in SKITLEARN. This question asks you to identify the correct statement about the density Mixin class in the SKlearn library, a popular Python library for machine learning. We'll look at what density Mixin does and what it doesn't do. Think of it like this. Density Mixin is a blueprint for building models that estimate the probability density of data. This statement is correct. The density Mixin class provides a method called score_samples. This method calculates and returns the log likelihood for each data point that you feed into the model. The log likelihood is a way of measuring how well the model fits the data. I hope this is clear. I want to tell you that this statement is incorrect. Density Mixin doesn't directly provide those methods. Instead, it's more like a guideline or a template. It dictates what methods should be there in models that use it. It's the individual models based on density Mixin that actually do the probability density calculation. This is also incorrect. While many models that use density Mixin might also have a predict_proba method, which gives you probabilities, it is not mandatory or enforced by density Mixin. The key method density Mixin cares about is score_samples. This is incorrect. The score_samples method gives us log likelihoods, and these values can be either positive or negative. Remember that the log of a number between 0 and 1 is negative. This is the title of the quiz on the SKlearn library's density Mixin class.